Hi, this is Josh.
I'm Vetus.
We're with Teachers Who Tutor, and we're going to help you add, subtract, multiply, and divide fractions. So let's get started. Hopefully you have a little worksheet. It works like this. There's some math memes that we got, but I'm sure you know what the top number of a fraction is, right?
All right, it's the numerator.
Yeah. And,
Obviously.
And in the pizza, that's the 3. So that represents the parts, right? Let's number those pieces of pizza. 1, 2, and 3. There's 3 left because my sons haven't gotten to it, and so put parts up there by numerator. The numerator are the parts, whatever you're counting. And then the denominator goes on the bottom, okay? And that's out of the whole. So why is there 4?
So there's 4 because if you're looking at the whole pizza, you count 1 on the first slice, and then 2, 3, and the 1 missing because that's the whole pizza if it was there. So 4.
Right. There it was cut into fourths or 4 pieces originally, okay? And so this is important, obviously. Now, if we were asking how many pieces have been eaten already, then only 1 piece has been eaten out of the original 4. Okay, so we need to know numerator, denominator. I know you know what that means. Also, something is, there's only 4 things you can do in math. You can add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Which one is this? Does this mean 1 plus 4? That would be 5.
No, sir.
Does it mean 1 minus 4, which would be negative 3?
No.
1 times 4 would be 4. 1/4 can't equal the 4, right? No, I don't think so.
No,
Okay,
that makes
so
sense.
what does this little bar mean? This little bar, I don't know what it's really called, means divided by. So divided by. That's what it means. Now, when you read it, you could say 1 over 4 or 1 out of 4, but I like to say 1 divided by 4. Okay, that's important. Okay, now, how do you add or subtract fractions? A lot of you guys already know that you got to get a common denominator, right? Well, that's fine. You can totally use that, but you can also just use this crisscross applesauce, okay? The way crisscross applesauce works is you take the number there and you multiply it by that and multiply it by that. What symbol does this make, Vetus?
Crisscross, an X.
An X, which means?
Multiply.
Multiply. Okay, so even though you're adding or subtracting, you're multiplying. Okay, I'm going to give you an example. 1/2 times 3/4. Okay, when you crisscross, you go 2 times 3 is?
6.
Okay, 4 times 1 is?
4.
So you write a little 4 and a little 6 there.
And this is 1/2 plus 3/4, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're adding here. We're adding fractions. 1/2 plus 3/4.
This is a plus, but these things make an X. You don't need to draw them. You just go 2 times 3, 6. 1 times 4, 4. Okay?
Exactly
And
right.
then across the bottom. So you go this way, then this way.
So to add 2 fractions, you multiply 3 times.
Yes, you do. And what's 2 times 4?
8.
Okay. And so that becomes your new denominator. Okay? And then what's 4 plus 6?
10.
10. Okay. So you end up with 10/8. Now, when should you make your life simple and when should you make it complicated? When should you simplify?
Always.
Always try to
Always.
simplify your life.
Complicate
Don't
your
try to
life.
make your
What are you
life more
thinking?
complicated. Okay.
Why would you do
Also,
that?
with your fractions, when should you reduce or simplify? Yeah. There's so much drama out there.
There is.
Always. Always. Please always try to simplify your life and your fractions, okay? So now I've got 10/8. I mean, don't say that. That's improper.
It's an improper way to say things. It
so
kind of hurts my ears a little bit, but
So improper. 10/8. Oh my gosh.
uh,
Watch your language.
Ugh.
Okay. So first of all, when should you reduce? Always. So let's reduce that. What number goes into 10 and 8?
2.
Okay. How many times they go into 10?
5 times.
5. How many times they go into 8?
4.
Okay. So that's still improper. And 5 divided by 4 goes how many times?
5 out of 4. 1 and 1/4.
What's left over? 1. That's where the remainder goes. And the original denominator, this is a 4.
Yep, so you have 1
Bad
whole
handwriting.
and 1/4.
Okay. Well, where does this go? This goes in our little chart. If we were going to do 1/2 and 3/4, if we were to add it, the sum would be 1 and 1/4. Okay. Now originally we had 12 tenths. but this is the better answer. Okay? Now let's come back up here to my very neat writing. Okay, let's start over.
Destroy and rebuild. It's the way.
Yeah. And then if we had 1/2 minus 3/4, we would also use crisscross applesauce. Okay, so this is the little meme. If you can recognize that little girl or picture her, photographic memory, 2 times 3 is still 6. 4 times 1 is still 4. And 2 times 4 is still 8, right? So now what you have to write, and you don't have to write it, is 4 minus 6. 4 minus 6, you add the opposite, okay, is if you have $4 and then you spend 6, you'd be at -2 eighths.
And I really like the way Josh does that here. So when you're subtracting, just like when you add 2 fractions, you're multiplying 3 things. And on the bottom, you multiply 2 times 4, and you put that number right on the other side right away, right here. But on the other ones, you have to note just above. 4 times 1, you put 4. You're kind of saving it for later to subtract the 2.
Right.
Then you put 2 times 3, you're saving it for later, 6, to
Right.
subtract the 2 right there. So 4 minus 6, then you transfer that.
When should you simplify your life or reduce fractions?
Sometimes?
No, always.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
you got it wrong.
Sorry, okay. I thought
Yeah.
sometimes it's fun to complicate it.
Okay.
I don't know.
So keep the negative.
Okay.
Keep the negative. Okay, this equals still negative, right? You don't get to change that into 1/4. And
Yep.
since that's the answer to a subtraction problem, what's it called?
It is called the difference.
Okay, what is that? -1/4?
Mhm.
That will go right here. -1/4. Okay? So,
Always simplify your life and your fractions.
yeah. No drama. No drama. Okay. Let's erase all this mess. Okay. Now, let's use crisscross applesauce. I'm going to do 2 at one time. I'm going to do the addition and the subtraction. And it goes like this. Okay. 1/5 and 9/10. Okay. 1/5 plus 9/10. Chris, 5 times 9 is 45. You write it real small. You don't need to put a little circle there, but you can. Okay, cross, 10 times 1 is 10. Okay, and then 5 times applesauce, like that. Okay, put your equal sign, put your little bar, and then 5 times 10 is 50. And then you got 10 plus 45. Now, you don't need to do that step, but you can, and of course, that's 55 fiftieths. 55 fiftieths can reduce 11 tenths, which is equal to 1 1/10.
And that's how you simplify. You always divide the top and bottom by the same number.
Okay.
So divide by 5, you get
Divided by
11
5.
tenths.
Yeah, they're both divisible by 5, right? Okay, now, the same thing is if this was subtraction, if this was subtraction, this is the sum, okay? If it was subtraction, then it would be 10, I hope you can follow this, right? It would be 10 minus 45, which is the same thing as adding the opposite. So if you have $10, or if you gain 10 yards and then you lose 45 yards,
That's a bad play.
that's
a fumble.
That's a bad call.
That's a
man.
fumble. That's the other team's ball.
I don't know how you could lose 45. I guess it's been done. But you would be -35, okay? And then the denominator would be the same. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, that's dumb. You should have just doubled this. That's fine. You could have doubled that. That would have been 2 tenths, and then you can add, the 9 tenths, and you would end up with 11 tenths, okay? Or -7 tenths. When should you reduce?
Always.
Okay, so this is the difference, and this is the sum. Okay, let's remember that when we go down here. Okay, what was the sum?
The sum, 11 tenths, right?
It was 1 1/10. That was correct. Yes.
Okay.
You did actually. And then if it was subtraction, then I think it was -7 tenths. Wasn't it?
I believe so.
Okay. Okay. So you're gonna try these two on your own. You're gonna try these two on your own. Do this one and this one on your own, and then you can pause the video. Okay. All right. Now, is it easier to add or subtract? Add or multiply?
Add.
Usually, but with negative numbers, not so much, and also with
fractions.
no fractions. It's like, why isn't this erase? I swear I'm using the right end.
It's a digital eraser. I think it might be worn out. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll blame it on the ghost in the machine and millennials. Okay, so what is our little meme? It looks like this. Okay. Basically, it's not cross multiply, but you multiply across. Numerator times the numerator, and the denominator times the denominator. My meme looks like this because that's Pac-Man, and he says num num num, and then these are Democrats, and they're little donkeys. And so all you do is you take the numerator and you multiply it times the numerator. Take the denominator and multiply it times the denominator. That becomes your new numerator and your new denominator, and it's really that easy.
It's really clean. In this case, there's no crisscross,
No.
Chris,
No,
it's just
straight across. It's not crisscross,
Straight
it's across.
Across.
So ready? Here's 1 is the numerator times 3. 1 times 3 is?
3.
So that's the new numerator, okay? 2 times 4?
8.
3/8. When should you reduce? Always.
Always.
Okay, multiply across. Num num dum dem. Okay, num num. 1 times 9.
9.
Dem dem. 5 times 10.
50.
9/50. I don't think that reduces.
Absolutely not.
So it's really that easy. Again, try these on your own as if it was multiplying. Okay, the last one, some math teachers have told me you can't teach more than one concept in a day.
Right.
I disagree with that. I think some smart kids can learn all of this.
I've seen Josh teach.
Subtracting, multiplying, dividing fractions in one day. You might get a hang of it, but you might need practice. You've seen me?
Yeah. I've seen Josh teach multiple concepts in a day and have students learn and apply it on their own right after.
3,
It's
4,
completely
5
possible.
concepts. Yeah,
Completely possible.
you can do it. All right. So I'm sure you recognize the Colonel here. You may not believe me. My mom doesn't, but I met the Colonel one time in Kentucky. Kentucky Fried Chicken. No, this is KSF. All right. So you got 3/5 divided by 2/3. You got 3 parts. I call it keep, switch, flip, but you can call it any number of things. But if you do it keep, switch, flip, you got 3 parts. The 3/5 you keep as 3/5. Instead of division, you switch this to multiplication. Okay, that's the switch. That's the S. And the flip is the reciprocal. And then when you flip 2/3, you flip it into 3/2 or 3/2. Does that make sense? What kind of problem do you have now?
You have a multiplication problem.
All right. Well, multiplication is num num dem dem. 3 times 3 is?
9.
5 times 2 is?
10.
So this is the quotient. Oh, that's not even a problem. Okay. So let's try this one. Ready? 1/2.
That was a bonus problem there.
Yeah, that was a bonus.
For you overachievers.
Okay.
Please
If
do that
this
problem.
is divided by, ready? You keep this, you switch this, and you flip that. So I'm going to keep 1/2. I'm going to switch it to multiplication, and I'm going to flip that, which is called the reciprocal. Okay, now 1 times 4.
4.
And 2 times 3.
6.
When should you bring drama into your life?
Never.
Okay, so what does that reduce to? When should you reduce?
2/3.
Always 2/3.
You simplify to 2/3.
Always reduce, always. That's the quotient.
Reuse, recycle.
That too. That too. In other news, right?
Sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. Okay, so ready? I'm going to do this one now. I'm going to divide this one.
Okay.
Okay. And I only learned this recently. Ready? The division symbol is like... what did I do there? Okay, there's a numerator and a denominator, right? In a little fraction symbol. But if you make that into a dot and you make that into a dot, that's the division symbol. Did you ever realize that?
No.
You didn't?
I might have learned that.
I didn't. I did. I just learned that like last year. All right, ready? You were lying. All right. So 1/5 you keep. Okay. Division you switch, and then you flip the 9/10 to 10/9.
Can I add one thing here, Josh?
Yes, sir.
For some students, I see that it really helps. You break it into 3 parts, but kind of to visualize this in columns. So you straight down right here, you have your first, second, and third column right there.
KSF.
So your first one, you K.
Yeah, they like to write KSF at the
You
beginning.
K right at the bottom,
Some
and
of my
then
students.
you S the middle one.
Right.
You say F for the last one. Some students really like this, so try it out. If dividing fractions is not working for you, try this way too and see if it's better.
And please write it down. Don't envision it in your head switched and flipped. Please write it down. So it's written here, here, and here, and now I'm writing it. And now I've switched it and I flipped it.
You'll be more consistent. You'll be more consistent with your solves and more accurate if you do.
Since it becomes a multiplication, we use num num dem dem. Okay, 1 times 10, 10. 5 times 9, 45. Once you just simplify,
Always.
okay, they're both divisible by 5. I think it goes 2 and 9, right?
Yep.
And that becomes your quotient. Good luck. We'll see you when we talk about decimals.